Hey guys, this is Fritz. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you my Kaiju Link deck. I don't think anybody has done this before. Pretty sure I'm the only one I can think of who's run something like this. I think it's really cool. It's performing pretty well for me. It actually has a really good Sky Striker matchup, Trickstar matchup as well. The BA matchup is pretty damn good too. Doesn't do so hot versus Gumblar. So usually the Goki, you kind of auto lose the Goki, which is why the side deck is what it is. But anyway, so let's take a look. So the first chunk of cards in the deck is going to be the Kaiju package. So I'm playing, I'm playing 10 Kaijus and then 5 copies of Waterfront. So we got our Terras, got our Waterfront. This card is amazing. So essentially what it is, let's see if I can get the focus. I don't think it's going to focus. Anyway, so I'll tell you what it does. So every time a card is sent from the field to the graveyard, it gets a counter on it. And when it has 3 counters on it, you get a search for a Kaiju in it. So it doesn't actually remove counters for the search, which is super important. Because essentially, if you leave this thing on the field, if you don't OTK, which is, I mean, this deck OTKs really, really consistently, you get a search again the next turn. You can just keep searching. The card's a +1 every turn you have it out, and plus the counters are really important for the deck. Also, if they try and pop it with like a twin or something while it has counters, or if they try and ogre the search, it only loses a counter, which is really nice. So it's actually kind of a pain to deal with. They'll have to go into like a Unicorn or a Ningirsu or something. Anyway, so for the Kaijus I'm running 3 Lightning, 3 Radiant, 3 Dogoran, and 1 Gamma Seal. So these 2 right here, Lightning and Radiant, are by far the best Kaijus to have on your side of the field. So Radiant, Dark Fiend is his effect. So we're going to go through their effects because the effects are actually super important. They're essentially what makes the deck run. He removes 2 counters from Waterfront and then spawns a token. And the token is the same, is just as big as him. It's 2800 attack, 2500 defense. Dark Fiend, which is nice because this goes under Gozen, and Rivalry. This is pretty much your only way to get out to. This is your only out to Rivalry in the main deck because you can summon him, use his effect for token, and then go into Phoenix to pop it. Kind of hard, but I mean, fuck floodgates, man. Anyway, and then so Lightning King, he is or Thunder King? Yeah, Thunder King, sorry. He's the other best one in the deck, so he's at 3300, and his effect is amazing. Remove 3 counters from Waterfront or anywhere in the field. And then you get to attack 3 times up on monsters, which is actually sometimes relevant. Usually you don't care about that. The second part of the effect is they can no longer activate cards for the rest of the turn. So that is amazing. It's an Azathoth for everything. So if they have any kind of disruption, they immediately have to respond to him, and only negation is going to stop my play. So you have to negate his effect, essentially. If you don't negate his effect, well, then I just get to play uninterrupted. So he actually has a really cool little interaction with if they try and flip goats on him, because obviously they can't end phase goats with him. And this deck, anyway, yeah, I'll get into that in a bit. So then Dogoran, he's the one you're going to put on their side of the field pretty much every time you draw him. He's a Raigeki on legs. What's kind of nice about his is because you're Raigekiing their field, it actually does refill your counters since those cards are being sent from the field to the grave. But he can't attack when he does it. Usually, you pretty much never use his effect because you almost always want Radiant or Thunder King. You're going to give this one usually if you can. Him or Radiant, him or Thunder King, you usually want to keep your Radiants because, again, he's for the Link plays. And then, so 1 Gamma Seal, this card actually sucks kaijus, believe it or not, because you never want to give it to them, because it's a not once per turn negate that you're giving them counters for, and he's too low attack to beat over any of the other kaijus, and you're usually linking away your kaiju, so you kind of want your the effect to be impactful. In which case, the token, Azathoth, or Raigeki, him is just like he can only respond to stuff, and you need to keep him on the board for that. Whereas the rest of these, you can use their effect and forget. So the nice thing about the kaiju package is none of these are hard once per turns. They're all soft once per turn. So that actually comes up a lot. In fact, that's the reason such a good link engine. I will show it. That is that's the kaiju part of the deck. The terraforming hit really hurt. I'll tell you that because you always want to see Waterfront. So then we play 3 Skyblaster. This card's insane. Card is, I mean, I'm only playing like 7 normals tops, and like 2 of them you don't actually want to ever normal. So he's pretty much always going to be a normal summon, and he's really good. You can, one of the better plays with him is if you open him in drones, it's obviously that's obviously a 2-card Boral Sword +1, and that's insane, but obviously drones is at 1. Anyway, this card is really good because you don't normal. You can even go get to Boral Sword pretty easily without him, and then you can use him as like a follow. He's pretty gross. Then we play an Ibli. The reason I play Ibli is, 1, again, I don't use my normal summons. This card's actually a pretty decent normal summon if you can get into links before you get her on the field, because then you link them away, and then she brings them back for more link material, obviously. And her the other really nice thing about her is you can, if they end on no monsters, which I'm playing kaijus, right? You got a kaiju, one of their things. You can just normal summon her, link her away into a mermaid, and then give her to your opponent, and then they have a monster for you to kaiju. That's what she's for. She's okay to draw into. You usually don't want to draw her because the mermaid play is usually better, but she's okay. Then I'm playing a Crusader Engine. So these are the only Crusader cards in the deck I'm playing. I'm playing Draco. How do you even say this guy's name? Reclusia and Arborea. And so this actually is pretty nice. I don't know anybody who's doing this right now, but this is, if you don't use your normal summon, this is actually a pretty good link engine, because you can, let's say like I open, the best one to open right here is Arborea. Oh, and I'm playing 3 different names because obviously they're all hard ones. So you normal the Crusadia, you link it away for the link 1. Say this is the link 1. And then you use one of the many different ways to special summon monsters. And you special something to the zone, and then so she stops it from destruction. So any destruction negation is gonna protect it, and also this is really good. This engine is really good negation bait for like Ash or something. Anyway, then you'd search out Draco and special Draco to a zone, and then just add back the one of these 2 that you opened with for the link 1, and then that was a normal summon that gave you essentially a link 4. So for 4 link materials, it's a +2. It's super good. I only added these recently. Actually, I added them when drones got hit, because I was playing 3 drones before, and that's obviously insane. So this is kind of my replacement to it. Kind of sucks because they're normal summons, but you can actually play without using them as a normal summon if you just use a second effect for Link Arrow. Let's say you open Sky Blaster in one of these. It's actually not that bad because you can obviously use Sky Blaster, make some Link plays, and then special these to the zone. It's just like a free Link material for me. Reclusia is a pop, so that's also technically could be an out to some nasty back row. So these are our... So these are one of power cards. Got drones. We have drones. Slumber, Reborn, and Raigeki. So we're blind second, so these are all really nice. These two cards kind of conflict because it's really hard to resolve drones twice and then also resolve a Slumber in the same turn. But it's possible. Nice thing with Slumber is, again, that's like one of the, it makes the game state super easy for you, the OTK, because it gives them a Kaiju, it gives you a Kaiju of your choice, and it's giving a lot of waterfront counters. That being said, I actually don't like this card that much. I think it kind of sucks. Otherwise, obviously we have a Reborn. This card's amazing. Extender. Play with their cards. Raigeki is, so this card's really cool because it lets us do a different play. So usually you go, if you don't open this card, usually you're going into Boral Sword, which is kind of, I don't know, that card is kind of scary to use sometimes because it's your entire play. If you go into Boral Sword, you're committing a lot of resources. But what's nice is if you open the Raigeki, you can go for a Saryuja, a Skuldred play. And then before you enter battle phase, Raigeki them and then attack for game. Because it's super easy to put out 8,000 damage, even if without Boral Sword. And then drones is obviously just a free link too. I play tested 3 engage and 1 drones after the drone hit. And I actually liked it quite a bit. If I had to cut something for it, it'd probably be the Crusader cards. But right now I'm just running the 1 drone. Then we have 3 mind control. Card is really good, especially with the changes to, or the removal of Goblin. Yeah, this card's really good. It's actually this card, okay, so I guess I should qualify that with saying really good in some matchups. Against stuff like Sky Strikers or Trickstar, where they're only ending with like 1 monster on the board, it's not super hot. But when you open this and like Kaijus, so you can go into the Skuldred play, and obviously because you're going to end with a Kaiju on your side of the field and then with a Kaiju on theirs, if you mind control their Kaiju, it just sends it straight to the graveyard because you can't control 2 Kaijus at once. So it's kind of nice spot removal for a Kaiju as well as being like just an amazing card because you can link away their stuff. We're playing 3 Instant Fusion. This card's really good in this deck. It's actually incredible in this deck. If they give you a Link Arrow, this card can just auto win you the game because then you make Millennium Eyes, you sit on it, and you do your whole combo protected from hand. This card's really good. I play 2 targets, Millennium and 1,000 Eyes, because 1,000 Eyes is good if I don't actually need to. If I'm going to be linking him right away, it's spot removal. Anyway, card's really good. I play 3 Desires. I do play like a couple Garnets. I don't really care because +2 cards or +1 card, I guess, in card advantage is just so good. And since I'm OTKing, I don't really care if I don't have a follow-up play for next turn. Yeah, the only Garnets I have is an actual Garnet. It kind of sucks to banish the Gamma Seal sometimes, and it also does kind of suck banishing the Iblis sometimes. But usually this card is amazing, so I honestly don't care. I want to see this in my opening. Alright, and then I play the Brilliant package. So 3 Brilliance, Garnet, and Trick Clown. These cards are insane. They're Ash Bait. They put 2 materials on the board without using my normal summon. And God, if I open like double Sky Blaster and Brilliant, that's actually just the nuts. It's incredible. Like normaling and getting an extra normal for like an Ibli, using actually resolving her effect. Super fucking good. Anyway, these cards are really good. It does kind of suck that I'm playing a Garnet because every other card in the deck I can play with not draw. Like if I draw into anything else, it's okay. This guy sucks to draw. He's actually the worst card in the deck to draw. Alright, so then I'm going to extra deck. Or tokens, of course, very important. And so, yeah, first we have a Nightmare package. Really small. I only play Mermaid, Phoenix, and Cerberus. I was playing Goblin when Goblin was not banned, but again, Goblin's gone now. These are definitely the ones I like the most because Mermaid gives the Ibly to them if you don't open the Ibly, which is pretty important for the Kaijus. Phoenix it's just back row removal, and you really do die to back row. And then Cerberus is usually I just use him to link into Mermaid, but if you are forced to go first, he's like kind of okay co-linked. So that's the Nightmare package. Then we have the Sky Striker package. Just one Kagari, one Hayate. This is really good. It's a free link too if you draw into the drones. Actually, it's just so insane. When I draw drones, I win. As simple as that. It takes up 2 extra deck spaces, but it's such a win card that I honestly don't care. And so this is for the this is Magus. This is the Magius, the Link 1 for the Crusadias. This is what facilitates the Crusadia play. Pretty good. If you're not playing the Crusadia cards, I'd just take them out. And I'm playing one Link Spider. I have a lot of tokens, and sometimes you need to get rid of the token to get into Boral Sword. Actually, this card comes up a lot. I kind of want to play 2, but the extra deck space is really tight. So, sorry, did I say Boral Sword? Meltdown Invoker. This card's pretty good. Usually go into him. You definitely want to go into him if you open any of the Crusadia cards, because he is what kind of facilitates the Crusadia play, because you need 2 arrows for the 2 cards you're adding off of that. You're adding one back with Draco. Then other Link 2s, playing Pentastag and Reprodocus. I don't know how you say him. This guy is good because you can use him with you can use him to get rid of tokens, and he's an effect. So essentially turns 2 tokens into an effect monster, or 2 of anything. And then this guy is actually super good. I'm surprised more people don't run him. So what he does is he gives linked monsters piercing. So this is, if you use him with Lightning King, this guy is an OTK on goats. Super easy. It's literally, yeah. Anyway, he's really good. Especially when people will try and jump block, and just end with this plus like Boral Sword, and nothing they can do. They can't jump block because they'll just die. My Link 4s, Boral Sword and Skull Dread. These are both OTK enablers. Boral Sword is pretty self-explanatory. Just put them out, you attack. Gets big, you attack. And so what's nice is because of his attack gaining thing, if you give them a Kaiju, obviously he's going to do 3,000, and then he's going to do about 4,000 something. So really good card. Pretty much this deck is almost Boral Sword Turbo. Goldred is the other really good one. You actually don't bring them out with 4 materials too much. You're usually going to bring them out with 3. Because you care about the 3 material effect, which is the special card from your hand. So if they don't have anything on their field, they don't have a Kaiju to get rid of, or so you can special your Kaijus. His effect to special a monster from your hand, it lets you bring out a Kaiju without them having one. Card's really good. Then we play, obviously, Seraphonite for Brilliant. And our instant fusion targets, Millennium Eyes and Thousand Eyes. So this is, if they give you an arrow, Millennium Eyes is 100% the better one to go into because he kills hand traps. If you can just do your entire combo without linking him away, super amazing. Thousand Eyes is just spot removal. If I'm not afraid of their hand traps, if I know I'm going to be linking him away, I can get rid of one of their monsters. Makes instant fusion into like a +1, so because they lose a card, and then I get a link material out of it. So my side deck kind of sucks. I'm missing Inspector Borders. You're pretty much your best turn 1 play is normal summon Inspector Border pass. There's one combo you can do, but it kind of sucks because it's pretty I don't know. It's not consistent. But anyway, so what you got is you have your Dark Hole. Card sucks. I've never sided this card in, but I mean, whatever. Hand trap lineup. Got our Ghosts, our DD Crow, and our Ash. I actually think this card is super good. I think more people should play it. Yeah, this card is so good. I actually think this guy is better than Ash right now, but add these in when I'm against something that I cannot let them make a board. It's when they can make a board that I can't break. So essentially a Goki. These are for Goki. That's why we have hand traps. We have called. So usually we side in the called when I know that the what's it called again? Mind control is going to be not very useful because I mean can't usually like again the Sky Striker matchup they'll end on one monster. You kaiju that and then your mind control is kind of dead and they play a million hand traps. This one's usually good for that. Sided in it's more useful. Stop one of their hand traps. 3 red reboot is like mandatory versus back row decks. If you draw it, you win. You don't draw it, you lose. Pretty straightforward. This card's ridiculous. I can't believe it was printed. And then, so these should be Inspector borders. But for now, I have my Trap Eaters, more back row hate. So the nice thing about this is if they flip a Floodgate, it does give you a link material to work with while getting rid of the Floodgate. It's not destruction either, so stops whatever floating they have, though usually they don't have. Alright, anyway, so that's the deck. Let me show, so it's really hard to show combos for this deck because it's really dependent on what they have on the field. But let's go, let me see if I can shuffle this a little bit and then see if I can give a quick demonstration, assuming they have just like a couple monsters. Like a hand trap. Very well. Alright, so let's say my opening hand, and 6 for going second. And so we have Mind Control, Reclusia, Ghibli, Waterfront, Radiant, and Dogaran. So let's say they have, God, this is kind of hard to, so let's say they have, I don't know, let's just give them a couple monsters. They have a couple monsters on the field, so we're gonna open with Waterfront. Open with Waterfront. Kaiju one of their monsters. That puts Waterfront at 1 counter. Get my dice. Alright, so that puts Waterfront at 1 counter. Alright, so then we're going to normal summon with Lucia. Link him away. Our grave's going to be there. Link him away for Magius. Our hand. Alright, so then that puts us at 2 counters. We're going to special summon Radiant, which gives us a search. Magius search. So then we're going to add Draco. Where is Draco? Draco. Then our hand again. And we are going to create Mind Control. Grab whatever monster this is, which then puts our Waterfront at 3. Activate Waterfront to search. So we're probably going to search for usually like to search Thunder King just because he's a bit safer. Add Thunder King. And activate Radiant's effect, removing 2 counters. Special summon the token. So then we're going to link 2. 2. This would go 2. Or where is he? Actually, got to use these guys. Token. Alistair. 1 for our Link Spider. Well, we are now at 4 again. And we're gonna special him because they control and activate his effect. Remove 3 counters, they can no longer activate cards. And then we're going to link 4. This is an effect monster that they had. For Boral Sword. And we have game right here, and then we still have 2 cards that we could play with. So this is game, but on its own. Boral Sword plus any kaiju is game, assuming they only have monsters in attack position. So yeah, that's game. If you wanted to keep going, special Draco effect, add Reclusia, add Reclusia back, and then you can just keep going because you have, again, you have a bunch of cards in your hand. So anyway, that's kind of how this deck works. It's really free form, so it's kind of hard to explain. But yeah, you really just play to how play based on the current game state. That's why I really enjoy it so much, because no game is the same. You're going to be doing different combos every time. Very free form. So when you're going first, pretty much you're going to side out like the mind controls. Probably you side out the Raigeki, side out brilliant Slumber. And then what you're going to do is you're going to essentially try and end on your best board going first is going to be, where are you? It's going to be the Sea Turtle with Waterfront with 5 counters sitting under a Skull Dread. So this is your best board going. It's actually pretty hard for a lot of decks but because this guy, so he's gonna keep getting counters every time they activate something that you don't negate. Anyway, you don't get this very much because essentially what you have to do is you have to open Waterfront and then you have to open a way to make Saryuja, which is pretty much the Crusader Engine or the Brilliant Engine, and then sometimes a Sky Blaster as well. So anyway, not very consistent going first, but most decks want to go first anyway, so you don't care. You're going to be able to get second pretty much every time. Anyway, so that's the video. Thanks for watching. If you got any questions about the deck, shoot me a message. I think it's pretty consistent. It's actually very fun to run. I can't. It's hard to describe the number of times I've asked people, or I've had people ask me like that about. I'll say activate Thunder King, and they're like, "What the hell does that do? Are you kidding me? I can't activate cards for the rest of the turn." Yeah, sure enough. All right. Anyway, thanks for watching. Yeah, that's the Kaiju deck. I will probably post a card list in the description.